Welcome to the Gorgeous Gray podcast. I am Nicole Scott, your host, registered holistic nutritionist, rest mindset coach, author of the Gorgeous Gray movement, and the co-creator of the Menopause Reset program. In this podcast, we have real conversations about aging as a woman and all the pressure and uncertainty we feel as we head into menopause and beyond. Let's face it, aging is not an easy conversation to have, but I say it's time to talk about the messy middle and offer hope when we feel like giving up on ourselves. Let's talk about our fears around gray hair, our muffin tops, and even our dry, itchy vaginas and everything in between. I will help you reconnect to your feminine energy and offer real solutions from experts in their field to navigate aging as a woman. I believe we, as women, deserve to shine even brighter in this next chapter of life. So with a sense of humor and a lot of compassion, let's dive into these vulnerable conversations. Hello, beautiful women. It's Nicole Scott here with Julie. Julie, thank you so much. I'm so excited to interview you today.
Thank you so much for having me, Nicole. I'm so excited to talk about these things.
So I'll give you a little connection to Julie. Julie and I met on Instagram. She's one of my, I'm going to say, gray hair silver sisters. We met, and you can follow her, you guys, on Joyful Heart Jewel. So Joy, and then F-U-L, and then Heart Jewel. So she's on Instagram. We'll give you all the information down below so you can follow her beautiful journey. A little bit of background, of course, Mama Bear, busy background. I didn't even know this about her, but she used to be a model. She's beautiful and gorgeous here, actor, voice actor. And I think are you vegetarian still? Are you doing the
vegetarian, vegan, follow a plant-based diet.
Right, plant-based as well. So really cares about her health and wellness. And it looks like if you guys are listening and you're not watching this on YouTube, she is growing out her dark hair and allowing her beautiful natural silver to come out. And oh my gosh, it is beautiful. Go to my YouTube channel and just check her out, just in case you're listening. Is this like 7 or 8 months in, or a little bit longer?
Longer. This is 13 months.
That's 13 months. See, I'm distorted now. I kind of forget the journey because I think I've hit 4 years now. So I'm a little bit ahead of you, but 13 months, yeah. It actually looks like you've gone to the salon and paid somebody to give you that like half and half look. That's how cool it looks.
Someone literally asked me that, and I was so dumbfounded by that because I thought, really? People are doing that? I couldn't believe. Here I am walking out of the house worried about the two-toned, and how much longer is this going to take? Clearly a lot longer.
And a lot longer. Well, you have long hair, so you are probably 1/4 of the way if you're going to keep your long gray, but you're going to have that beautiful, what, like I say, people pay for. So let's dive in and talk a little bit about this journey as a mom, as a background of being an actor and actress. And oh my gosh, talk about pressure about looking a certain way. And here you are going, okay, I think I'm going to do it. I want to hear a little bit more about that story. What made you decide to say no more dye?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because a lot of people in my life today as a mother don't know anything about my past of acting and voiceover and all of that. It's just not something you talk about, and unless they see something on TV, then they may send a text, from my current group of being a mom, right? Hey, I saw you on TV last night. Was that you? Or my son saw you, or my daughter. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but you feel like it's so weird because you don't talk about it. You don't meet people as a mom at baseball or whatever sports your kids play, right? And say, hey, I'm Julie, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I used to do this thing. You just don't bring it up. So it's just, then people think they really know you, and they do know the real you, the now you, they just don't know the past you. And so it's kind of hard to just, I've done it my whole life since I was a kid, and so I just keep my hand in the pot now. I don't do a lot at all. My whole life revolves around my 2 kids and their sports. And I have no regrets about that. I know that later I won't look back and say, geez, I wish I would have done more acting, once the kids are grown. I know I'm going to be so grateful that I got to do what I get to do right now. And there's always going to be later for more of the acting and more of that kind of stuff. So with that said, the one reason why I didn't let my hair go naturally to where it is now for all those years was the one thing, and it was the acting. It was the on camera. It's not okay. It's not a part of the industry. I am young. They won't understand this. And so those were all the reasons why I was so crazy about covering it. I mean, I was just as crazy as all the stories we've heard. The Root Touch Up can, the L'Oreal little green can of Root Touch Up. I would have just dyed my hair. And after dyeing my hair, the color was still popping through. The white never would quite go away. So after paying all that money to dye it, I would still spray the Root Touch Up on top of the dyed hair. That's how psychotic I was about making sure that no one knew my deepest secret, this white hair color, silver, gray, whatever you want to call it, salt and pepper. So with that said, that is why it took me so long. I'm not blaming the business. I'm not blaming the industry or anything like that. It is what it is. It's how I felt. I own what I did. Right. But now stepping forward into being a mom for all these years, a stay-at-home mom, I had gotten farther and farther away from the on camera. A lot of voiceover still, because I could do that at home from my home recording studio around my kids' schedules and nobody needed to know about it. It didn't require me to leave for 12-hour days on set, right? Didn't require any of that. So that I still kept my hand in the pot, but the on camera part, I was backing away from because it's impossible, really almost impossible, unless you have a village of people around you to help raise your kids, right? To tell a babysitter or a caretaker, hey, I've got to go and do a shoot today. My call time 7 a.m., but I have no idea what time I'm going to get off, right? In LA and Hollywood and the acting world, wherever these acting sets are, they're everywhere for different people, right? You don't know your end time. They don't know their end time. It's production, right? And so you could be there 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, and then add the 2-hour drive in, the 2-hour drive home, traffic. How do you tell a caretaker or a babysitter, right? I'm going to be gone and I don't know how long, it's impossible. So it got to be such a roadblock for me that I realized, okay, God, I don't think this is what you want from me right now. I'm getting older, life is changing. My priority is these kids. So I'm going to make the priority the kids, obviously, for me, since I didn't have that massive village of people to step in and help. And even if I did, I can't tell you that I would have wanted to relinquish that. For me, I wanted to be hands-on and I wanted to be there with those kids. And I wanted to see every single thing, the first steps, the first, sweet potato, whatever, right? I wanted to be a part of that, so I made those conscious decisions to back away. So with that, even though I backed away, I still didn't let the hair growth come in because it was still this thing of beauty, everything that had been ingrained to me since I was young, since I first started modeling, at 14 years old, that, beauty and what that definition is to the world. Right. So even though I was stepping away from the spotlight, I still, and when I say spotlight, let me tell you, I did little tiny things, nothing big. Okay. Let's throw that out there now. Like a D-list actor, if there's such a thing, I don't know. But anyway, a wannabe actor. Okay. Let me just throw that out to you. Anybody who wants to Google. Okay. We're talking the smallest of smallest things, but things that made me so happy. Okay. So anyhow, I still didn't let the hair show just because of the stigma and the beauty and the ageism and all of these things that, were ingrained in me since I was young in the industry. So, wow. Yeah.
So what finally gave you permission to say 13 months ago that you were done hiding and ready to come out?
Oh, it's so weird. You would think that I would have wanted to do that during the pandemic, but right, you don't choose these things. You don't get the, premonition. It just doesn't happen that way. That would have been the time. I think I told the story last time that we talked in your YouTube channel about, remember how it was the hair dye that I had to order it. Remember, maybe I talked about this. I can't remember. You couldn't walk into the beauty supply to buy it because they were sold out because there was this big pandemic, right? COVID, and everybody was running around to get their hair dye. So I went in not realizing that it was a real thing. There was no hair dye. I mean, I panicked, Nicole, like sweat, the whole 9, panicked, palpitations, anxiety. And here we were all stuck at home. I was so crazy that I literally was that scared for anybody to find out, stuck at home, because what if I went to the grocery store? This was when we couldn't even go to the grocery store, right? Like only to get the bare necessities. Remember those days? And so I was so crazy. I found the hair dye. I ordered it online. I ordered bulk so that I would have enough to get me by. But I'm telling you, that moment was sheer panic. So that never happened then. I wish I would have done it then because I'd be where I want to by now, but I didn't. So I went through all that. And it wasn't until 13 months ago, I woke up out of the blue. I didn't see anything. I didn't watch anything. I just was done. I woke up and I just said, God, am I losing my mind? Am I going through a midlife crisis? Well, let me ask my husband first and let's see what he says. Hey, I'm thinking about not dyeing my hair anymore. I just am so done with the every 2 weeks, the root touch up, the brown dye on my hands from the root touch up when you scratch your hair, your head, or what it would get on your clothes, or how often you could wash your hair because you didn't want the root touch up to leave. It just goes on and on. It's disgusting, but it's the reality, right? That some people will never understand. But anyway, so he was like, go for it. Like, I love you if you are bald. I love you with short hair, long. I don't care. So once I had his, okay, that I wasn't going crazy and do what you want. It's your life. And I love you no matter what. That was it. That day, I did not look back. Now, pause a moment. I didn't stop dying that day. I started going online looking for other women that were doing the same thing. So I did like a Google search, women in their 40s going gray, am I going crazy? Are people, is this okay? Yeah. So I still wanted some sort of validation. I was still stuck in that mindset and that what's been ingrained in me about beauty. And I hadn't paved that way for myself yet or said what's okay. I was still looking for, could there be just one person out there that says this is okay? I still needed that. And I'm embarrassed to say that. And I feel sad that I still needed that, but it's part of my journey, right? It's how we grow and how we learn and how we become who we are, right? Yeah. And so fast forward to now, I got all that information. I looked online. I screenshotted every single woman's face and picture where I saw that she was younger. I didn't look for older women, older, right? Because you could find a lot of grannies on the internet, right? I had to look for women that were my age. And so I was screenshotting, and then I was reading inspirational quotes, and I was finding, and then that's how I found Instagram. And so basically it all just went from there. And it was maybe a couple of weeks after that, I did like one more dye. And then I said, okay, that's it. I'm ready to do this. Like, I just wanted to really be sure, and because my hair was so light, you'd have to do it every 2 weeks. So after that, I started the countdown. And then I started the Instagram, not for this. I started the Instagram for just an outlet for my vegan food. That was it. And I was using the vegan food as a way to look at other people's gray hair Instagrams.
And then what happened to your Instagram? What did it turn into?
And then it turned into, like, literally after some vegan enchiladas, recipe that nobody cared about. It turned into pictures every week I wasn't really good about doing it every week, but I was looking at other women that would do it every week. And I thought, okay, I can do it once every other week, maybe once a month. And so now literally it has turned into an Instagram that, yes, there is food all throughout it, because if you watch my Instagram, you know that I love to bake and I love to cook. But and plant-based is very important to me. So obviously I love to showcase those food, recipes, so people can see it's totally doable and it's so delicious and you should give it a try. But really it's all about the updates of 13 weeks, 14 weeks, 18 weeks, 22 weeks, 1 year, and that's what it's all about right now. So sprinkled with my food and travels, so.
I love that. So thank you for being so raw and vulnerable and really painting a picture for women, because I think a lot of women are going to relate to your story, even though you said, oh, I was embarrassed. But like, that's, I think so many of us are a bit that stigma of, what we should look like, in our 40s, what we should look like in our 50s. It's kind of like, what age should we go gray? Like, is it, like, even for me, when I look back, it was like in my head, I was like, when did my mom, or not even my mom, it was more my grandma, when did my grandma let herself go? And I related it to gray hair.
You see,
right? As a young kid, right? Right. Yeah, she let herself go. And she wasn't like the role model of like taking care of herself beyond gray hair. So I think that's a fear in a lot of women, is the judgment of people thinking that we're letting ourselves go.
Yes.
And it's for me, and I don't know for you, but the opposite. If anything, I want to even take better care of myself than I did before, right? Of being loud and proud
Yes.
and representing women who do decide is that you can have it all, even with gray hair,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, and you get so much stronger and happier and more confident. All the things that you think are the opposite, you literally are the polar opposite of all those worries and all those
Yeah.
insecurities and all those concerns. Not that I still don't go out and go,
Mhm.
obviously I wish it was all one color like yours,
Mhm.
right? But
Mhm.
it will get there in time. It's a journey,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so it's okay there, but it doesn't take away that I still do wish it was all one color. And I've had
Yeah.
many times where I teeter back and forth about going to this guy on Instagram who costs way too much money for what I can afford.
Jack?
Yeah, I didn't
Dear
want to.
Jack, help me.
Yes, yes. Do you want to do it for free, Jack? I'll be your guinea pig. No, not that he needs a guinea pig, but I'm sure. But I'm not going to pay that kind of money. I don't have that kind of money. The money I have is for my kids, their
Right.
sports, and for college,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so this is just the way it's going to have to be,
Yeah.
right? If I could do it quicker, I would.
Yeah.
But this way, at least I'm finding out the true color of the underneath. The
Yeah.
top, the back is darker than the underneath. It's
Yeah.
just the top is lighter in areas,
Right.
but it has a weird stripe. It looks like I've highlighted it. I haven't done anything to it. I've just stopped dyeing it 13
It's
months.
so cool. I love it. It's great. And I think it sends a really powerful message. I think one of my first videos I did on YouTube was the 6 different ways that you could transition. And one of them was cold turkey, which you're doing, right? That just like let it grow out and let's see what happens. And that's a really brave thing to do. And I wasn't ready when I did it 4 years ago because I ended up spending way too much money and destroying my hair trying to do the whole matchy and stuff and having to cut most of it off and having to do a restart. So it was like, I just like literally threw my money down the toilet, just so you know, ladies, if you are deciding to do it, because I
Yeah.
really did destroy my hair and I had to get it all chopped off, like to like almost here
So
and
beautiful.
have to regrow it.
You never
So
know. You never
yeah,
know because it is gorgeous,
well,
gorgeous.
thank you. So let's talk about this 13 months. Tell me the growth that has happened to you. 13 months of deciding to say, let's go, let's start to allow people to see the real me, the real color, the real bling. What has that internal conversation been for you, and how is it? And has anybody recognized it as a transformation for you?
Yeah, it's a weird thing, for other people. I think people don't really want to talk about it, right? They see that it's happening, but it's kind of like, when somebody's pregnant and you don't know if they're pregnant, you don't want to say if they're pregnant because what if they've just gained a few pounds, right? So you just don't say anything unless you really know. Well, unless I'm having a conversation with somebody like, hey,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm growing my hair out, I think there's just a lot of looking and a lot of people saying, oh, your hair's so pretty. So, and I find that so sweet and endearing, right? That
Mhm.
getting those compliments, because I never, ever, ever got those compliments when it was all one color, right?
Isn't that true? That's what most women say. I never got any compliments on my hair, and now I get them all
Ever,
the time.
you know? So it's like, wow, interesting. And then I've got the, comments about, the neighbor recently just said, I hadn't seen her in a while, and she said, "Oh, oh, your hair, the way you're coloring it is so neat." And I was like, "Coloring it? What part?" And she's like, "That." And I was like, honey, no, that's genetics." And she's like, "What? How is that possible?" I'm like, "Genetics, look it up." you know. So yeah, some people just don't even have a clue. Like she really can't understand how my head could be producing that color hair.
At your age.
At my age, I'll be 44. So I'm not young anymore. I'm not in my 20s, but I'm not, in my 60s yet either,
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. But for me, I've just gotten so strong and so confident, and I'm just feeling just so good, I just feel so free. You just never can imagine how something covering up something and being so fearful about something, how that uh, manifests itself in other parts of your life, right? And now I don't care anymore in a good way, right? I
Yeah.
still do my makeup. I still get dressed. You know, you can tell obviously from my makeup, I love doing makeup, right? I love putting my best face forward. I have a thing, don't go out of the house without your face on, I still believe in that. I still do that. I love my makeup. I love my, getting dressed and my jewelry and all of those things. So none of that has left. I just feel so much more confident now. It's such a bizarre thing, you know?
Mm,
So
that is
I'm
so
I'm free.
amazing.
I'm writing. I wanted to write forever, but when you have young kids, that's hard to do. So I'm writing now, and I'm making a bunch of short stories about real stories in my life, and wanting to create a speech out of that, a keynote speech, and then go around and speak. So, which is crazy around my kids' schedules, of course, but I want to start speaking. It's something that I love to do, and I feel like I have a lot of stories to tell. And now it's writing all these short stories, trying to figure out which story I want to tell, which story can be the keynote speech. Because, right, you can't go and tell everybody all your life stories in one setting. So, writing these short stories, getting them out on paper, the real stories of my life, things that have happened, and finding out how I can use those stories or the one story to help other women or children or kids or, college kids, whatever. I don't know where, I don't know how it's all going to work out. But the point is I just went off on this journey, right? In this path of just things that I only used to just think about and would say that will never happen. And now I'm actually doing it. So I don't know. It's just crazy. Crazy things are happening.
That is so great. So when do you find time to write? Are you doing it early before the kids get up, when the house is quiet? Do you do it once they're out the door? When are you doing these stolen moments of writing? Because I know that's the biggest obstacle for so many moms is they've got these ideas, but they're like, I never have time for myself.
True, you don't. And you wonder, how do the working moms do it?
Hmm.
How do these
Hmm.
working mothers that go to work every day? I feel so blessed that I get to stay home and I have the hours, from 9 a.m. to 1:30 that I'm completely free, right? With the kids in school from pickups and drop-offs and sports. So from 9, the time that I drop off the last kid, till 1:30. I feel like I should be doing so much with my time. I should have written the book already. Everything should be done. Like, I have nothing to complain about, but you know what, Nicole, and it's hard because you get back from that last drop off and you live in the house all day long that you stay home in, right? So
Yeah.
there's always cleaning, there's always dishes, there's always a Tupperware drawer that needs to be organized. The dog needs to be walked. You need to think about your own self. What have you done for your physical well-being today? Did you get a workout in, sit in the sauna, lift some weights, run, jog, ride the bike, walk the dog, right? The laundry. Oh my gosh, the stains that need to be removed from baseball uniforms. Are you kidding me? That's what I should write a book about. No, just kidding. But there's just so much. The dishes, the food prep, right? Let's just even get out of the kitchen. Just walking in the door, I'm already thinking about what I need to make for my husband who works graveyard shift, right? Who gets up at 2 o'clock and needs to have his lunch and his dinner, right? I want to be a good wife, obviously, and I want to have those things ready. And he's a vegan. So when he's on graveyard shift and he's a vegan, my husband cannot find something to eat on graveyard shift as a vegan. So that falls on me as the good wife who wants to be the best wife I can be and the best mother I can be, right? To do those things for him. So you walk in the door from your last drop off and you're already thinking about what needs to be food prep, what needs to be cooked. Just that alone takes up my time till pickup at 1:30,
Right.
right? So it's just a lot of planning and a lot of feeling like you're chasing your tail and that you never really do anything for yourself, but for everybody else. But that's okay. I'm not complaining because that is what I was here to do, right? However, the writing part now has started at night, which is the worst. It should be in the morning. It should be the first thing, right? I'm going to get so much judgment for this, but I can't, stop when I walk in from the dishes and the food prep and the dog and all of those things. So I do all of that, right? Getting the kids stuff ready for their next event after school. They've got, this banquet, this workout, this private lesson, they both play multiple sports. Okay. And they're both straight A students. I'm very proud of that. They work very hard. So I feel it's just my job as Mama Bear here at home on the landing ground to just make everything that I can as flowy as possible for everybody in this house. So for me, the writing has been coming late at night. I get them to bed, I clean up the kitchen, and then I come in here where we're at right now. I have made myself this office in the front bedroom of my house. It used to be just a room with like gym equipment, right? And I have just decided, you know what? That bike can go in my bedroom. That sauna can stay. It's an eyesore, but it has a purpose. And I started And then you want to know something so crazy? Literally, as I start thinking of these thoughts, to start writing, and I'm going to just start doing something with my time in the evenings, and I'm going to do this. I'm ready. I'm driving home from like my son's basketball, and I see a desk on the side of the road. A desk. I had already been thinking, but I don't want to go spend a ton of money on office stuff, right? Because what if it doesn't work out? Or what if I really don't speak anywhere? Or what if I don't get anything written? Or what if my stories suck, right? All the what ifs we surround ourselves with. I'm driving home, but all the while I'm praying and I'm telling God and I'm putting it out there. I want to do this. Show me the way, right? I'm driving home. I find a desk for free on the side of the road in my neighborhood. I am sitting at that desk right now. Then I grab that desk and I get home and I get my daughter and we get the SUV and we put it in the car and we bring it to the courtyard. I know my husband's going to be like, what is she doing now? Oh my gosh. Then 2 weeks later, I'm driving by again, a different house in the neighborhood, and there's a dresser out on the side of the curb with a bunch of junk. I grab that dresser so quick. I decide, oh my gosh, I'm going to make that like my station for my, office. Post it, whatever, all the stuff, that paper, cards, all that stuff. There's my dresser. I've got my desk. I already had a laptop, of course. And guess what? Guess who's in business?
I love that. So you prayed on it,
Yes.
and then you got the signs and you paid attention to the signs, and then you created your magic space to do the God's work.
Yes. And you want to know one more crazy, crazy story? You're just going to get the chills over this. Okay. Listen to this. This is before the desk, before the dresser, right? Praying, asking God. Of course, I could go use the credit card. We have money, right? I could go buy a desk. I could go buy what I didn't want to. I wanted God's blessing and I wanted to listen and I wanted him to show me that this was okay and that the signs were right now at this time in my life.
Yeah.
Rewind 3 months ago, before any of this, before even thinking about writing or speaking or anything. I'm at Home Goods. I don't know if you have those in Canada, but they're big here. They have furniture and stuff. I am in line to buy something for like the outdoor patio. And there's this picture about this big. It's white and it's a white frame and it's black and it's a silhouette of a woman who looks like me with her hair in a bun, who has glasses on just like I wear when I'm not on this camera, just like yours. And it says, do you want to hear this?
Yeah.
It says, dreams don't work unless you do. And if there's some way I could take a picture and send it to you so you can see it, I will. I grabbed it because it spoke to me, Nicole. I was not even thinking about writing or speaking. This is 3 months ago. God knows. I'm in line to get my little outdoor cushions and I have this frame and myself is telling myself, why are you buying this? It's only $16.99, but I'm going to get emotional.
But so beautiful.
Sorry, but
that's okay.
That inner hater or that inner critic, whatever, said, you don't have any dreams, right? You don't have a right to own this picture. You don't have a right to put this. Where are you going to put this? I didn't have an office then. Remember, I hadn't even thought about it yet.
Yep.
But it spoke to me. She had her little cup of coffee. I'll show you the picture later. It was so simple. It was just a black silhouette drawing with black marker on a white frame, $16.99. And I had no right to buy it, Nicole. I had no right to spend $16.99. And where was I going to put it? And it makes no sense, but it spoke to me and I bought it. I bought it and I brought it home. Fast forward 3 months, that picture is hanging on the wall right in front of me. It's cheap. It's small. It's nothing. But it means everything to me. I didn't know what was going to happen, but to me, I feel like before I knew, God knew. And he put that there at Home Goods that day. It sounds so stupid and so simple, but Nicole, I believe in it so much. It's hanging and I use that as my inspiration now every day.
I love it.
He already knew before I knew,
Isn't that the way that it works though? And I think this message that you're sharing with the world and on this podcast and this episode is about listening to the signs. Now you have to ask. That's what I have learned. Ask and you shall receive. But that's, I think, the missing point that people don't understand is you have to do the work every day. You have to connect every day. You have to ask every day, but you have to make sure that you're in gratitude first before you ask and really feel the gratitude about your life. And then you wait and pay attention to the signs. And that's been my growth personally over the last, I think, probably 4 or 5 years as I connected deeper to my spirituality and trusting and releasing resentment or Why isn't it happening fast enough, right? Why isn't my life progressing fast enough? Why isn't my paycheck, growing fast enough? And I realize now through all of my life experience that
Mhm.
everything was always in perfect harmony. And same with you. I love the fact that you were talking about you didn't have a dream. And now all of a sudden, 3 months later, you've got an office and you're making time to write and you've got a vision of being a keynote speaker.
Yes.
I mean, you've given me goosebumps, and I know that you're going to give hope for women when they have like stopped, dreaming. So this whole thing about like aging as a woman and heading into, as that you're not there yet, but like that age 50 for so many of us women are like, oh my gosh, like it either can be transforming, or it's our pause in life to say, are we on track? We
Yeah.
give so much as women, we give so
Yeah.
much up as women, and we sometimes forget about our soul.
Yes.
What is our soul purpose here? Are we on track? So I love that you're an example of, I'm going to say, tuning in to your soul's purpose. And
Yes.
you're finding the signs that are showing up for you and you're paying attention. So I'm so happy for you. And I just know it's going to happen for you. I just know you're a lighthouse. You're following the signs. You're taking care of yourself, and yeah, you're just being the lighthouse. I always say you get rewarded when you get uncomfortable. It's almost like you get rewarded when you get uncomfortable. I
Yes.
remember when
I
I
love
had the idea of writing, and then it was like just like what you said, Jude. I was like, oh my God, I can't write. I'm like, I failed English. I can barely speak English. My spelling is like
horrendous.
horrible. I think one of my teachers was also a mechanic teacher, and he would walk out of the room when we did exams, and we would all be like literally cheating. I never, I unfortunately, as a kid, you're like, well, if everyone's cheating, I'm cheating. So, it wasn't my best subject. So the idea of me even writing was like, it brought all my fears back as a kid. You're stupid. You don't know how to write. You can barely speak English, and the inner critic like was screaming at me. But guess what happened? I got the 4 a.m. wake up call to get out of bed and go to the desk and start to write. And that strength, that energy, I just kept on writing. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know if it was going to turn into a book. I just kept on trusting the message. And I just felt like everything was like almost downloaded to me. You hear those stories of like Wayne Dyer. Oh, it was all downloaded at 3 a.m. I would just write. And that's like, I was like, oh my gosh, is this what Wayne Dyer meant by downloads? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, my hand is moving, and I'm like, these are coming out of my mouth, out of my, like, just so much
Yeah.
self-doubt. But then as I got deeper in it, I was like, I think I can do this. I think this is going to happen. So isn't it funny? I feel like you're kind of like in the same journey I was with like the inner critic. And now I always tell people like, find that inner hero. The inner hero is there and she is ready to come out and play
Yeah.
and be that light. And that's where I feel you are in your life.
Yes. Yep. Those kids are going to grow up and gotta have something else so you're not in the fetal position crying a river.
Right. Cause again, you'll hit that 50 and go, now what?
And
What's
that
my next? What's
and
my
that's
next chapter?
yeah, that's
Right? How am I going to show up?
and I don't want that
Awesome.
to happen. I want to take care of that now slowly, with the God's guidance and my faith and following what I feel like I was meant to do. Right.
So
I
good.
you know
Okay, so we're going to wrap this episode up. If there was one last message to share with a woman who is obviously aging, we all age,
Yep.
and there's a fear around the either letting go of the gray hair or allowing things, maybe she's hiding other things other than gray hair and she doesn't want to come clean. What message could you share with that woman that is still feeling a little stuck in her life?
The message that I would send is go for it. If there's any little minuscule voice, any little something in your ear telling you, tagging you, a reoccurring something, right? Itch, whatever it is, go for it, follow it, because you will be so free I would be the last person you would have ever, I know everybody says this, really, guess would do this. There are people that knew me my whole life that said, there is no way you have gray hair. And I would say, trust me, I do. And now they're like, oh, wow, she wasn't kidding. So do it, because you'll be so much more free and confident and happy. And not that I haven't always been a happy, joyful person. You know, I named my daughter Joy. My Instagram is Joyful Heart. This is a big part of who I am. It's what I want to speak about, right? I can't even say I'm more joyful, but I guess just more free. You know, there's things because you don't do it, that you don't realize, like I said, manifest itself over other parts of your life. And so just go for it. What do you have to lose? If you don't like it, well, then everybody knows your secret, and so be it. You go back to combing your hair, right?
Yes.
You have nothing to lose except for, realizing that, wow, I like this. And whew, I'm saving a lot of money too.
I love that. Yeah, the what if. And I never want a woman to feel bad, because I will get these messages to say, Nicole, I tried and I just didn't like the way that I looked, or my hair didn't come in as beautiful as yours, or I had all of these scraggly things and it looked like I had pubic hair all over my head and it just looked horrible. I've had those, right? And I said, that's okay. We're not judging you here. This is just a whole conversation about feeling good from within, and whatever that shows up for you. It just, some of us have decided that this may be a solution, and for you and I, it was.
Yes.
And it's working out, and it's awesome. Yep. And it might not be for everybody, and that's okay. But there's a whole bigger conversation other than just the gray hair, right?
That's right. Yep. What's behind it,
Yeah, exactly. So good. Well, thank you so much, Julie, for joining us and sharing your heart and your story, and touching that dream, making it come alive, listening to the signs, seeing the symbols, not ignoring them, and helping you get closer to that soul purpose so you can continue to be that lighthouse that the world needs. So thank you for that message of hope and joy.
Well, thank you for doing these. We so appreciate it, what you're doing for all the women around the world with your YouTube, your podcast, your Instagram, all of it. It's just unbelievably amazing, the discussions that you've opened up, and how you're helping women everywhere.
Thanks, Julie. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. I want to say thank you for listening to today's episode. If this message landed for you, make sure to leave a review and tag me, Nicole Scott, at Gorgeous Gray Movement, and make sure to share with your friends. You can head over to my free Facebook community, Gorgeous Gray Movement, or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more inspiring interviews. If you are still struggling and need additional support, you can take a look at my website, nicolescott.ca, and learn more about my new Menopause Reset program that I'm so excited for. Until next time, ladies, be well and own your sparkle.